Last week, I did a video about climbing up the same mountain and not doing that anymore where it pertained to my weight release journey and making some tangible goals or just some goals for the coming year for myself to ensure that I don't slide down that same mountain so that I advance to the next mountain. Now, what I have realized after doing that video is, and what I thought while I was doing that video was that every aspect of my life, that's what I do. I go up the same mountain, I slide down the same mountain. And so I got to thinking and I realized I don't. I don't always go up the same mountain and slide down the same mountain because I would have made no progression in my life. And that's just not a true statement, which I think was important for me. And I think it's important for others to take stock of what you have done, right? So it's really easy to just look at this one area of your life and say, oh, I just keep doing this back and forth, back and forth. What am I doing with my life? Blah, 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 blah. I can never fill in the blank. But when you stop and you look and you say, okay, let's look at the life as a whole, because my whole life is not just about releasing weight. I do a whole bunch of other stuff and I do a whole bunch of other stuff great. But I got so hung up on this one area that I completely discounted everything else. I don't know if anyone else can feel me on this, but it was almost as if I that was just my life. All I did was going up and down the same mountain about losing weight or releasing weight. I don't say losing because I'm not looking for it. Releasing weight and not acknowledging all the other things that I've done or how I came about making these decisions. So that got me thinking, right? So it got me thinking, and I started thinking back to my past, and I made a list of things that were still really prevalent in my mind and what year that was, and then looking and saying, wow, over the past 10-ish years, it might be more like 12, but over the last 10 years, I did a lot. I did a lot, and it came from a place, and it didn't always come from a place of me sitting down and writing down goals. Sometimes it came from a place of me being really internal and getting a lot of messages in my dreams and believing that the messages in my dreams were to help me make steps forward. That happened a lot at the beginning of that happened a lot for me in like 2007, 2008. My dreams really dictated my next steps. Moving more into the decade of like 2010 to 2020, it was travel. Travel was and still is, well, we're in a pandemic, so I'm not traveling as much as I once did, was huge for me. Travel helped me decide what I wanted my life to look like on a day to day basis, right? So I used to work corporate America. I was a software developer. And so it was generally like, a 9 to 5-ish schedule. There was a lot of after hours work and stress and what have you. But I remember on our honeymoon, Selena and I took our honeymoon to Spain. And I remember walking through the streets of Spain and seeing people just sitting in a cafe in the middle of the day, drinking an espresso and connecting with people. And I remember saying, that's what I want my life to look like. I want to have the freedom to live like that. I want to have the freedom that if in the middle of the day, I want to go and sit and chat with someone, I'm not answering to anybody, and I can do that. So that was back, we got married in 2010. So that was back in 2010. Then we had this life changing trip for me. We went to Istanbul in 2012. And again, we were walking the streets. I remember we were walking past the palace in Istanbul, and I looked at Salima and I said, this is what I want my life to feel like. I want my life to feel like I can just do what I want when I want to do it. So we were walking the streets. It was the middle of the day, it was the middle of the week, but it was this feeling that I had. I felt free. I felt creative. I felt able to explore. I didn't feel the pressures of confinement. I loved it. And I said, this is what I want. I don't know how I'm going to achieve this. And I remember saying, I don't know how I'm going to achieve this, but I know that's what I want. And I think that's what was so important, right? Because I knew what I wanted. Because then that was 2012. And in 2013, I quit my job. In 2013, I quit my job and I started building what I wanted my life to look like. I started putting pieces together, right? So this didn't happen overnight. I didn't go to Istanbul and say, this is what I want. And then the next day, all fell in place. But I started, right? I started on that journey of putting the piece together what I wanted my life to look like. And now here I am in 2021 and that's what my life looks like. And it's crazy when you get what you want, right? It's super crazy for me. I have a hard time um, accepting it sometimes. But this week, it really showed me. So this week on Tuesday, I didn't get a whole lot of work done. I think I went out to breakfast with Salima. I had to go do something else. I had to go do something else, but I wasn't in the office. I wasn't in the office and I wasn't checking off my to-do list like I usually do. But I had to stop and I had to stop feeling guilty, first of all, and I had to second realize this is what I asked for. This was the freedom that I asked for, and this is how it's showing up. It's not always I get to just kind of walk aimlessly down the street and do what I want. But what it is that I get to dictate the flow of my day. And that's different every day. Uh, but seeing that and being like, and stopping saying, thank you. Thank you for acknowledging that. Thank you for allowing me to step into this and just giving such gratitude to the universe, to my higher self, of saying, you've grown and you see that growth. And because I see that growth, that means the next 10 years is going to be amazing because now I'm in that spot again of saying, okay, what is my soul calling for? What is it that my soul wants now? Because that's what it wanted in this last 10 years. I had been building it to get to this point. And now I think that's where I'm starting to think. And I wonder if others, and I hope others, are thinking about what do you want? Be intentional about what you want. Be audacious to ask for it to yourself, not to other people, but say, this is what I want of you. This is what I want of this life. This is what I want of this experience. And then go for it. And going for it isn't always so like um, harsh. It's those small steps that you take every day. It's those small decisions that you do something even though you're afraid, right? All these decisions that I make, they didn't always come from a place of just like pure, oh, I'm good, let's just fly, let's just flow. It's all there was fear, there was concern, there was doubt, there was hemming and hawing and going back and forth. There was all of that. But at the end of the day, I left. At the end of the day, I took the step. At the end of the day, I stepped out on faith and I said, the net is going to appear. So, what's next for you in 2022 for the net to appear?